Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 42 years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. We're very pleased to have Mr. Dan Sorinen, a local businessman and former St. Pete City Council candidate, as our guest today. Mr. Sorinen will share his thoughts and opinions on a subject that has been drawing lots of attention here in our local news. Dan, if you don't mind, once again, welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast.
Thank you for having me.
By all means.
Good to be back.
All right, you're right. Be back. This home for you as well. Dan, if you don't mind, please share with our audience a little information about yourself, such as where were you born, raised, and educated?
So originally I grew up in Albany, New York. I went to the College of St. Rose. Did a couple of years at Hudson Valley Community College and then went to the College of St. Rose. I studied history and political science, a lot of philosophy, and I am an entrepreneur from day one. One of those guys that rolls the dice every time he gets an opportunity at a business venture. A lot of the local politics and things, I stay involved in it because it helps me make the decisions that I make when I'm choosing what locations I'm going into and what types of places I want to do business in.
Okay. Now, you said you were born in New York and you were educated where again?
College of St. Rose, right in Albany.
Albany, okay.
Yes.
Thanks for that information. Appreciate it. The publisher of Florida Politics, Peter Schorsch, wrote and published on January 14th, 2026, an article titled, "Is Ken Welch a Victim or Just Incompetent? Two things can be true." He mocked Mayor Welch and his professional credentials by saying, "It was surprising to learn that he, Mayor Welch, or more specifically, a political committee that supports his work or his political ambitions, was the victim of accounting theft." His political committee was the victim of accounting theft. Again, that was mocking Welch's credentials as an accountant. Numerous media outlets have supported or reported. Take note, I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Numerous media outlets have reported and or commented on this matter of Welch losing more than $207,000 of campaign funds. The Tampa Bay Times, Matthew Widener and his YouTube channel, Florida Politics, Fox 13, and many other outlets have flooded our area with the news. Yet, we have a few crew members, Welch crew members, who have circled their ridiculousness in terms of trying to distance Welch from culpability. If nothing else, Welch is guilty of gross negligence, incompetence, and denials. Fellas, let's talk about it. Dan, what you say there?
You know, this isn't the first excuse that he's had to come up with. This isn't the first time that we find out from reporters what he did or what he failed to communicate to the public, what he failed to report. It seems to happen over and over again with him. He makes bad decisions repeatedly, and then when he gets caught, well, now it's everybody else's fault, is the way that it just seems to appear.
And I like that.
This is a small town. The whole town's really about 2 blocks, and everybody knows each other. And you're telling me that you lost $200,000 and no, it's not my fault. But when did you lose it? And when did you report it? And you have a responsibility to the people that you're running for, the community at large, to be honest with them.
What'd you say, Jake?
Well, I feel like it should be, in a situation like that, it should be checks and balances, first of all, because when you're dealing with money, you should have 1 to 2 people that you go to that's over that controls that. Not everybody should have a key to the vault, so to speak.
And this treasurer already failed to give campaign reports prior and was put back into that position a second time.
Right. So that's,
don't do dumb things twice.
There.
Right.
That point right there, again, focuses on Welch's incompetence.
right.
He loves to say the word transparency, and yet he's the least transparent person we've had in office in a long time.
What'd you say, Russ?
I got to go back with James said. I always believe that when you have a failure in politics or anything like that, I got to go back with James, checks and balance. If you don't have a check and balance system operating like it should, you're going to have some faults. And I said, and to me, Ray, that's where it lies, check and balance. It's not there. It's not there.
You know, his supporters, his small crew of supporters, they throw up this nonsense. It was his political PAC that had the responsibility of that. He had no control over his political PAC, they say. That's nonsense.
You're supposed
That
to.
is nonsense. There are several types of political action committees, several. And Welch definitely had control over this one. He vetted, poorly vetted, very poorly vetted Yolanda Brown. Because in one article I read, he pointed out that she had X number of clients, prominent clients, that she had X qualifications and all this other information. So that means that he must have read her resume, or he must have communicated with her prior to her getting that position. But yet, it had to be a very, very poor vetting process because she had so much in her background.
It always is.
That would have prevented her from being selected by anybody of competence to get that role. Dan, you had something you want to add?
When it comes to vetting people, he's always skipped steps. He never went and secured and made sure that the Rays had the money to do the gas plant deal. That was like the first thing in a real estate transaction is make sure they got the money. So he never vetted them. What makes me think that he would vet somebody at that level if he didn't vet somebody at the highest level?
You know, I have made statements in the past, and I'll make it again today, that Welch did a poor job of hiring an effective, cohesive leadership team.
Mm-hmm.
He had a very poor leadership team, starting with his deputy mayor. Did he vet her? Did he vet her before he selected her to be his campaign manager?
And when he realized there was an issue, what was his reaction? It was a bad reaction once again.
Poor.
He maintained a hostile work environment until who was the woman that went out? It was a Janelle Urban
Janelle.
Taylor. Yep.
Janelle.
And so that right away, we already had issues right there with his vetting people and knowing who to trust.
And he again tried to indicate that he was not aware of the toxicity.
He wasn't aware of Brian Caper.
Poor decision makings. He has
it's
no skill.
It's a poor, after the poor decision, he reacts poorly to the
issue.
to what eventually happens.
You know, personally,
And mostly he just says, not me.
personally, I was thinking that we're going to lighten up on the mayor for a moment because we really have been focusing on accountability issues,
Mhm.
not negative issues, but accountability issues. And I said, you know, maybe we should lighten up and refocus some of our discussions. But how do you ignore this when all of the media is flooding our area with news about this matter? I read some of the news outlets such as Fox 13, Channel 8, PolitiFact, Peter Schorsch's operation, Matthew Widener's operation. All of these news outlets flooding our area talking about Welch and this $200,000 stolen from his campaign.
Allegedly stolen.
Allegedly.
We still don't know where the money is yet and how it got there.
It's a good point because it seems as though Welch himself said that Yolanda Brown was introduced to him and his campaign by an individual who is no longer with his campaign. And so many people have speculated who that individual is. I've done the same thing. And a lot of people have thrown one name out as the person who brought Yolanda Brown to Welch. And that was his former campaign manager and deputy mayor. Stephanie Owens is the name that has been brought to me several times. And it was suggested to me that with Stephanie Owens not in Welch's campaign anymore, she may be harboring an attitude. I don't know. I haven't seen her. I haven't talked to her, but people are always throwing comments my way. And the comment was that she is still angry about having to leave the job of deputy mayor in St. Petersburg. And being that the case, the reporters need to talk to her and dig deeper into this missing $200,000.
No matter who did what, it's going to fall on him. He's at the top of the food chain in that situation. So he should know, if I was in this situation, I'm going to insulate Jamie. I'm going to make sure I'm insulated and protected no matter what. And whether, incorrect vetting can lead to stuff like this. But like you said, how long has that money been missing? Who's been checking? How often do you check on stuff like that?
Where
Yeah.
are the files from the original pack?
Right.
Brad McCoy, I believe, has filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. We all still want to know where that money went.
There's a lot of.
This isn't just this didn't fall out of the sky. This didn't happen in a vacuum. This has been going on, and it's on multiple levels for the entire time he's been in office.
And the thing about it is, did you have something, Russ?
Now, what I was going to say about all of this, and basically I'm kind of speaking for myself, and Ray mentioned a few minutes ago that we've been kind of putting a lot of pressure on, well, there's a reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to understand that when Welch came aboard, being a Black person, I was, you got to understand that. And knowing that he had a history his father,
Mhm.
all in, you know what I'm saying?
Grew up here.
He grew up in this area. He grew up with us. So when I'm speaking for myself, when he became mayor, I was elated
Mhm.
because I said, here is a guy, not only being black, but he's from this community.
Mhm.
And when you're speaking of the gas plant area, that's where he came from. Now we're going to this. My thing is, Ray, what happened? Ray said a few minutes ago, is he a victim or is he incompetent? That's the question I want to know.
And the headline for the article about that particular question goes on to say, two things can be true. He can be a victim and he can also be incompetent. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. And oh man, it's so
I mean,
disappointing.
that's what it
It's
is.
so disappointing.
Disappointment. It's beyond disappointment. It's a betrayal. He betrayed the South Side community. A lot of the black community. It's the word betrayal. There was an expectation
Exactly.
of what he was going to do, and he hasn't fulfilled any of it
No.
that I've seen. And I know it comes different from a white guy from Albany, New York, but the
that's
truth
what
of the
it is.
matter is that's what it is. And
You've been here a long
Yeah, the
time.
truth is
You're
the
from
truth.
here.
you've been here. Yeah,
So
I've
you've
been here.
been a lot in this community.
Mhm.
You're from here. It's just a matter of you're hitting the nail on the head about the fact that he betrayed the community. I feel it's a betrayal if you're the mayor and you won't answer people's phone calls.
Mhm.
That's a betrayal. You're the mayor and you won't meet with individuals who have concerns to talk to you. You won't meet with them. And you're not shy about not meeting with people. That's a betrayal. It's a betrayal when you have a business such as this radio station that you don't want to offer any support to. And you come up with an excuse such as they don't meet the standards for community impact. That's betrayal.
Mhm.
But before he got elected, he sat in my car, reached over, turned on the radio so that he could hear his ad on the radio from this station. Now you're elected, support the radio station. That's a betrayal.
Mhm.
And we can go down a long list to suggest betrayal.
Which
So
is
that was-
also why we need those campaign reports, because somebody has done pretty well based on
well,
the things that he's done while he's been in office and who made those contributions. What did the radio station contribute to his campaign?
well, the
This is
radio
a quid pro
station-
quo mayor.
Well, my thing is he has offered financial resources, financial support to a very limited number of businesses in
Mhm.
this community.
And he's withdrawn them when he doesn't feel that it suits him. Story 727. Why did that money go away at the last minute?
I have a friend, and she's also a very close friend of Jamie's. She called me yesterday to say, Ray, I'm out of here. I'm gonna leave you and Jamie and others to deal with that mayor, This lady had a very good medical scrub business, selling scrubs. She was on Central Avenue and she had to move out of that nice shop. Further down on Central, she had to buy the building. And she called me to tell me, Ray, I'm out of here because she finally sold her building. But the main thing about her is she's been in business a long time and she has not gotten one penny of support as a Black female in a business that could use support. Not one penny from this mayor or the previous mayor or the mayor before that. But speaking of this mayor, she was thinking he knows me, I know him, and maybe I'll get some support. Not a penny. That's betrayal.
And the importance of that support, especially for Black entrepreneurs that is the way in the way that I see it right now, is that you look at who's the president. Donald Trump is the president, and he's cutting programs left and right. Now, he did this in his first time that he was in office. He also cut a lot of the programs then, and it led to a large boom for Black business owners, entrepreneurs, because now all of a sudden you don't have a net, nobody's there to help you, so you go out and you do it on your own. And right now, I'll tell you that a lot of the startups that I'm getting are Black females that are starting businesses right now. And I don't know I haven't figured out that correlation, but it's almost to the day that he took office that I started getting more and more female Black women looking to start their businesses, and how do I go about it? So there are different correlations, and as the mayor, he should be taking those phone calls. He has a responsibility to every one of those small business owners that when you can't get a permit or you can't get a license, who do you call? Our council members haven't been through the process, and yet this mayor, he controls the process.
I mentioned Matt Whitener. He's an attorney here in St. Petersburg, and he's been an attorney for quite a while around here. And he was trying to offer support to a pastor by the name of Carl Mobley, because Carl Mobley's church is right there next to Bethel AME Church, the historic church on the north side.
Mhm.
And Mobley's church was falling apart. Termites were eating it to death. And he was trying to get support so that he could either build another church or buy another church, because there's no way that they could stay in that church. And he wanted to meet with the mayor. I set up meetings with Stephanie Owens when she was here, because I talked to Ken Welch. Ken Welch referred the matter to Stephanie Owens. Stephanie Owens did call Carl Mobley, but it never went further than that. And the man tried to meet with Welch. As a matter of fact, I was at an event out in the west part of the city. I got a call to come to that event. I called Carl Mobley because I knew Welch would be there. I said, Carl, come on out here. Da, 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 da. They invited me to sit on the front row. I had Carl Mobley sitting next to me on the front row because, again, Welch is sitting right there on the stage. And during a break, Carl did speak to Welch, and Welch again said, oh, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. Lying his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call you. Lying his ass off. Never did call the man. So Carl eventually talked to Matt Weidner, the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
He said he wanted to help the guy, and he got involved, and he tried his best to meet with the mayor to discuss this matter. No success. No success. Why is he mayor if he doesn't want to talk to the residents?
The constituents, yes.
Why is he mayor if he doesn't want to help people other than his little small crew? And it's his little small crew who are throwing up defenses for his betrayal.
It's the same boondoggle bunch that always runs to each other every time. You know it. Every name, every title that they're going to throw at you.
Yes.
My first interaction with his lack of integrity was with the Urban Collective when we were at the Manhattan Casino. And he took office after Kreisman, and we were actually excited about it because we thought that we would get more support from a Black mayor than we were. Even though Kreisman was supporting of us, there was no financial support. I think we got $300 for hot dogs and the Halloween event or something. Like, here, go take care of the kids. But the mayor refused to meet with us over and over again, and then had the balls, I don't know what I'm allowed to say here, the audacity to go in and at a city council meeting that he didn't need to attend, where we had already agreed to turn in the keys, and took that opportunity to slam the group of us and say that we hadn't fulfilled any of our obligations, that we didn't meet with them, and that he was giving us opportunities. It was just a flat out lie. And from that point on, I've had very little respect for him because I was in that same room when Brother John Muhammad was appointed to the position. And one of the questions they asked was, how do you feel about telling the truth? Are you willing to always tell the truth in this room? And that was one of the questions. And I don't remember, I paraphrased.
That
I'm not
was
sure.
a question
It was one of
of
the
a
questions was
candidate for city council. Are you
on the
willing to take
appointment.
on the
Yes.
appointment? Right.
How do you feel about the truth?
Telling-
How important is the truth? And then here I am in that same room 2 months later, and it's the mayor coming in to lie about our group at a meeting he didn't need to attend. He didn't need to be there. We had already agreed to give up the keys. So, I mean, that shows the type of support that he has for South St. Petersburg and the businesses that we have here.
Well, let's circle back to the issue of those $207,000 stolen. One of
Right.
his strongest, most ardent supporters claimed that Mayor Welch had no responsibility for that loss.
Mhm.
Nonsense. That person also said that the person that stole the money should be the one suffering whatever consequences there are. That's two. And then she went on to say that as a public official, the mayor has no control over his political action committee. That's false.
Mhm.
That's false. There are several types of political action committees. Their rules, their guidelines are stipulated by the federal government, the Federal Elections Commission, as well as the Internal Revenue Service. They stipulate the conditions of participation in a PAC. Also, you have the state government chiming in on that, and you have local governments. But there are different types of PACs, and most of them, the mayor would have oversight. He would have oversight. The main one that he would not have oversight is what you call the super PAC.
Hmm.
The super PAC is the one that can raise unlimited funds. They can raise a gazillion dollars, but the mayor and the politicians wouldn't have any control over that PAC. They can't coordinate with that PAC. But
This is a bunch. This is a
statement.
what it is they're trying to get him off the hook on a technicality.
That's it.
The truth of the matter is, we all know he knew exactly how much money is. And once again, it comes back to, when did he identify the problem, and how did he react? Was his first reaction to let's cover this up, tell her to give her the money back, and let's make sure that none of this gets out? Or was it, let's call the police, make sure that we properly document this and get it out to the media before everybody else? No.
Even in the media right now, Jay, you have something to say?
No, go ahead.
Ruff?
No.
Even right now, after everybody is aware of it, he's lying and lying and lying by saying we're preparing to report it to the authorities. Preparing to report it. Damn, how long does it take to prepare to report it? If you know of it, what preparation do you need? What preparation do you need? But I'm going to say, Dan, I appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being here. As always, I appreciate the work of these co-hosts, doing a great job. We appreciate you, the listening audience, for tuning into the Ray Tampa podcast, and ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m., 99.1 FM, The Bird. And we remind you, and we'll keep reminding you, call the supervisor of elections office and ask to register or to renew your mail-in ballots. Very important. And with all that being said, good evening.